All right. Hello, you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. I've got my spoon and I don't need scissors, but I've got the scissors just in case. I've got my weighing thing. I've got everything. We're ready to go for this live stream. I won't have to get up hopefully and check out anything. Um, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all that type of stuff. Here in Taiwan, we've had a pretty nice time. As I don't know, I I enjoyed it. I ate a little bit too much. Hey man, how's it going? I'm, you know, I got fatter, unfortunately, but I really enjoyed doing it. And, I may be on the other side of the world from most of the people that I sell tea to, but chances are I am not the only one who had that experience. Now today, I'm looking at this stuff here, and I'm realizing that my friends in Sanxia had a really, really good year because I said, I'm out of tea. I need some tea. And they have sent me tea so 2 black teas. I need more black tea. These are 2 black teas. One is from August and one is from the spring, if you can imagine that. There's 2 white teas. One is from May and one is from a couple days ago, the 8th. Oh, sorry, a month ago, from the 8th. And here is some green tea from the 10th. And this is the only green tea they have. So they had a pretty good month. Let's break out an MST while I'm watching live. Well, there we go. I think the guys in England did that the other day. They had a big live stream and gave out a bunch of tea. Good for them. We all got fatter. Yes, we all got fatter. Yes. Well, I certainly got fatter. Why am I? Anyways, why am I blanking on the name? They're in London. Anyways, whatever. That doesn't matter. That's one of the things I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, like, I was going to do whatchamacallums, podcasts and get in touch with all these people. I'm thinking I'd still kind of like to do that. I'd still like to talk to all the people, but at the same time, I'm like, I just don't want the drama. You know, I tried to do that before, and there was drama, and I really don't want the drama. Anyways, what else? Wow. This this smells really good. This fresh white tea smells really, 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 really good. So I might be getting that. I might be getting that for sure. But overall, the break, I took some time off. Now, here in Taiwan, there's no holiday for Christmas. Now, I grew up with Christmas. Christmas is an important holiday for me. And so I brought a little bit of the Christmas cheer. Let's see if it's still doing the same thing. It is. So if I don't see your thing on the Instagram, I'm sorry. Cindy, how's it going? And I was going to send you an email, but if you're still there and you get this, then I'll know. You put a little message in there that you got it. I sent out your package. I sent out some jade with it, and one of them is polished. So we polished up one of the jades, and it's only about like this big, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful polished jade. And then there's another couple. I remember you saying you wanted to put them with your tea stuff. So there's another couple pieces of jade. So I sent that out the other day. I haven't sent you an email. Maybe that'll save me from writing out the email. No, I still got to write an email because I'd love to talk to you about your trip. I'm very curious about it, actually. I'm curious to see what's going on on the mainland at the moment and how your trip was for you. Anyways, the rest of my story was, now we'll get into Sanxia and why I love these teas so much in a minute. But really I do. I just love the smell of these. Just makes me happy because I really enjoy those people. So what is Christmas about? Well, where I when I grew up, Christmas was about being really bored and eating a lot of food and basically turning on screens. Back then, it was just TVs, but you would just sort of sit there and eat and do nothing and watch TV for hours at a time. And so, in my household, because the difference between TV then and all the different screens that we have now are very different. Maybe someday I'll start up a a channel on that type of stuff, which I study. But I said to my boys, my wife had to work on Monday, but I said to my boys, it's Christmas. You guys don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to school. We have a screen day. And that is the thing my children love more than anything else. Like when my kids were younger, we went to Canada. And what'd you like about Canada? Oh, I got to look at the iPad on the plane. That was like the thing. Because we're I wouldn't say screen free, but we're definitely screenless. We're a screenless house, and so we did that on Monday, and that was sort of the thing that we did on Monday. I read that the Biluchuan was requested by Chiang Kai-shek's generals, and they chose Sanxia. Any truth to that? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I can ask. That sounds like one of those marketing things that thanks, let me know how to pay for the jade. My trip was amazing. Okay, well, awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad you made it. You made it back safe and sound, and from all the exclamation points in here, I'm hoping very healthy, back healthy and happy and everything. But anyway, so that was the Christmas. Now the Chiang Kai-shek's generals thing. I've never heard that before, but that sounds like a really good marketing thing, kind of. But Chiang Kai-shek's generals were fascists and mass murderers. So I don't know what that marketing would work for. Maybe people who only have a little tiny bit of history. Chiang Kai-shek's generals. Forgive me, I forget the name of the man, but a little bit of history. 1945 to 1949, as they were fighting the war, there was a horrible human that came and was in charge of Taiwan, and they started the White Terror period. They massacred a bunch of people and just basically R-word the island economically. And so he was one of Chiang Kai-shek's generals. So if he was asking for the Biluchuan, maybe that's not the best thing. So I have not heard that, and probably because people don't talk about that time period, and they don't talk about Chiang Kai-shek's generals often here in Taiwan. But for other things, like maybe other places, that might be a good one. Brewing up your summer, Jade Mountain Red. Okay, right on. So 2022, it'll have a little touch of age to it, depending on how it was aged. But the first steep, you should probably wash the first steep on that. Anyways, why don't we get to the teas? Now, what do I have here? Again, to go back into the teas, I got 2 black teas. These bad boys are, one is from the spring and one is from August, so dead in the summer. So we'll talk about the difference between these. This is actually, well, look at the difference in colors. Hopefully you can see the difference in colors. Yeah, you can. So you can see the difference in colors. The stuff, this here, which is the older stuff, is much darker. Then this is the fresh stuff. It's a month old, and it's much brighter. And we'll see how this one was stored, because my friends in Sanxia are a little bit notorious for sometimes not storing things the best. So we'll see how it goes. We're gonna try this one out. We'll try this one out. Maybe I'll get both of them and do a marketing thing. And then we got green tea from October. Now I bought their green tea from September. That was the fall green tea. This is the October stuff, and we'll taste it and we'll see. Usually at this time of the year, when I say, do you have any more green tea, they give me a couple. But right now they have only one, again, which makes me think, awesome. So all the November stuff they got rid of, they sold it. Yes. remember this garden, this place is, we'll do the green tea first here. This garden, this place is one of my favorite places to visit in all of Taiwan. It's a family, you know, I've known them forever in the sense of many, many years. I found them like just, I wouldn't say by accident, but I found them. I was working really hard to find a beautiful place. And the teas that they pick are all picked by hand, but they're not just picked by hand, they're actually pinched. And this is the size of the picks, right? So you can see here, that's the size. And they walk through the garden and they pick, and then they only make at most a couple kilograms a day of these beautiful, beautiful teas. And, you know, when I go, I usually buy like 2 days worth. You know, I'm like, what do you got? I need some green tea. And they're like, well, we got 1,200 grams from this day and 2 kilograms from this day. And I'm like, that's it? And then they're like, yeah, well, that's it. You know, it's sort of a thing. And that's what I get from this. So here we go. Here we go. I'm hoping that I can get this green tea. Wow, isn't that an interesting green tea? I can get it. I can get it for sure. It's a little light, little on the oolongy side, but it is, what's fascinating about it, it is like right on the dividing line between winter and fall. So it's got some of the fall strength, but in general, on the other side of it, it's mostly winter. Anyways, it's right in the middle between the seasons. It's a fun one. It's a fun one. And I won't be able to get any more green tea for a while. So I will, yeah, I'm going to get it. I won't get too much of it, but I'll get enough because I don't really have very much green tea on the site. I should have green tea on the site. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll get it. I'm going to add some more hot water to it, and I'm going to blast it over here to make sure that nothing bad comes out. But it's already been 10 minutes. I'm sure it's probably okay. Okay, let's get to these two teas, the white teas, right now. Now, this area, the Sanxia area, if you got the subscription box the last, I think it's last month. Yeah, if we got the subscription box last month, there was a Sanxia green with osmanthus flowers, and that's a beautiful tea. It is a beautiful tea. I've only got like maybe 30 or 40 grams of it left, but it's a really beautiful tea. But it's from an area that's like, they're like, oh, we're not close, and then I looked it up, and it's like, you know, like 2 minutes away, not even. But I think I might get in touch with them as well in the spring if this garden doesn't have enough green tea. I might go over there and be like, well, what do you guys got? Because they're also certified organic and doing a really good job. Oolongy, interesting. Does the master make oolong from that Sanxia varietal? So that's Sanxia varietal. All of these teas are the Qinxin Ganzi or Qinxin Ganzong, depending on your accent and what language you're using for that particular variety. Here we go. Green. This is the white tea. This is the May white tea. Oh, that is good. And this varietal is only grown in Sanxia. It's specifically for the Sanxia style of green tea. And it is really bad when made into an oolong, but really good when you make it into a white tea, a black tea, or a green tea. So when you make it into these 3 different types of teas, it's really, really good. It has this unique sort of citrusy flavor to it. When you make it into a white tea, especially when you age it a little bit like this one, there's a beautiful floral note that pops out, almost like a chin floral. But in the background, you've also got that little bit of a citrusy note. Really beautiful. But if you turn it into an oolong, say like a baozong, there is a really strong and quite unpleasant astringency that pops out. And it doesn't really happen in the green tea. Green tea soft and beautiful. But the baozong and the oolongs, it really is kind of. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, actually. It's a funny story. Somebody, back when I was first starting out, this was back when I was first starting out, I was talking about this tea and I was talking about Sanxia greens. And they went on one of these high and mighty, you do not brew a green tea with boiling water, one of these things, right? And the sort of the actually meme guy. And yes, a Japanese green tea, you don't. I'll give you an example. Where are they? Oh, they're over here. I'm going to go get them. Oh, see, I wasn't going to. A very, very nice gentleman. We did a tea exchange. And he went to Japan and he brought back these beautiful green teas. And I've had them looking at them sitting in their packages and I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified of these teas, right? Terrified of these teas, right? Terrified. Absolutely just like, because I don't know how to brew them because I'm a Taiwanese tea guy. How do you brew tea in Taiwan? You brew it with boiling water and you put it in a gaiwan or you put it in a teapot and you just brew it that way. And that's how you do it because you don't worry about all those things. You're talking, you're in this context of doing things like that. And that's how you brew Taiwanese green teas. Now, what that means is you have to not brew Taiwanese green teas like this. You can, like if you brew this beautiful green tea in that way, it's going to be probably absolutely amazing. A little light, but absolutely amazing. But if you brew that tea with boiling water, you're still fine because that's the way you brew Taiwanese tea, right? I'm sorry, that's the way you brew Taiwanese tea. And it's more of a social thing. It's more fun. It's especially the teas that I try and find. They're the teas that yes, you can if you make a mistake, you can still brew it. And so when you ask me this question, which is a great question, right? Oh, I was there. Yeah. So I don't know. It's happened so few times at this point. Like I love having these live streams. I love having conversations with people and all of these things. I just absolutely love it. And the amount of bad experiences I've had in like 5 years is like 2. And I can remember them. The people who have also, like people who have watched them remember them as well because they're so rare. There was that one and the guy who had his package delivered to him. It was another different story. But I remember there was like 2 or 3 at the most. So good. I'm going to leave that one here. Okay, we'll try the fresh one next. What was the point? The question was, these green teas are already basically oolongs. If you compare them to something like this, right? If you compare it to something like this, this is already an oolong. And in Taiwan, it's a green tea. Actually, in Taiwan, most tea drinkers in Taiwan, like not the refined tea nerds like we are, they'll actually call high mountain oolong green tea. Like luta, they'll call it luta. Like when you go to the drink store and you order a green tea, they're giving you a high mountain oolong. All right, so just to put it into context. And so when I'm talking about that, when we talk about that in that context, I was there for the other bad experience as well. Yeah. Well, there you go. I brewed really expensive Longjing with boiling water. Good quality ones don't get bitter with good quality ones. Don't get better with 100 with boiling water. And I bet you that probably is the case. I'm not Chinese tea. I don't know. I don't know Chinese tea. Right. First guy to say I don't know Chinese tea. When you're talking about Taiwanese tea, like this is not going to do well with boiling water, but I'm pretty sure it's high quality because the guy that I traded tea with is an awesome fellow, and I trust his taste in tea. I've actually got I feel bad because like he's like, oh, I want you to try it, and it's been a couple weeks and I haven't tried it yet. And I feel like sending him an email. Hopefully he'll watch this, but I'll send him an email and be like, I still haven't opened it. I'm scared. Like I didn't open it and not like it and not tell you or anything. Like no, I'm not being polite. I'm literally just Terrified. I am just kind of terrified. But anyways, when we get to this white tea, this generous, beautiful, freshly made, well, a couple weeks ago, Sanxia white made with the Chin Chin Ganze or Chin Chin Ganzong, depending on your language and cultivar, uh, and and the way you describe it, cultivar. It's funny, because when you're actually talking about this stuff, and you're like, oh, it's a special thing, it's a special cultivar, and you say the cultivar, like everybody says it differently, and everybody goes, oh yeah. You know, because it's like if you say Chin Chin and then something after it, it's this. Right? Because the other ones, like say for example, Dao like Big Feather, the ones that they use for the other ones, they put it in the front. But anything afterwards, because there's so many, there's Taiwanese, like the Hoklo language, and the Taiwan, and then it accents. Anyways, a little bit too much information. Speaking of Longjing, I've heard there's a Longjing from Sanxia as well. I can tell you that story if you want. Oh yeah, I gotta buy this one. It's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so floral. And actually, I was talking with my buddy in Raceway, and he has this beautiful white tea. But his white teas are, he doesn't actually touch them. He doesn't cheat. But these are like cheater white teas, right? So you can actually see, right? They're not just leaves. So what happens is the master, right? I think he almost might be, I think he's probably 90 right now, but he'll go and he'll actually to the white tea. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. So speaking of Longjing, I heard there's a Longjing from Sanxia as well. And there is a Longjing from Sanxia as well. Now, I don't know enough about Longjing to know anything about it, like how they make it. Gorgeous. Floral and just, wow. These white teas are both really beautiful, but I'm going to get the fresh one because it's like, maybe I'll see how much they have and get this pressed into cakes. This would make a really good cake. Longjing. So what is Longjing? You know what? Briefly to describe it, I've had it maybe once or twice or something that's called Longjing. But what you're looking at is how you know it's Longjing is the flat leaves, like the leaves sort of look like this, whereas the other things all look sort of like, you know, the Bilutren, right, which is the snail, sort of looks like this. Now, when I first went to Sanxia, I did my research and I went around to a bunch of different places. And I went to a bunch of different places and I said, hey, you got some green tea? And they're like, yeah, we got Sanxia green tea. And so the way it works in Sanxia is there are a bunch of tea gardens and tea farmers and only a couple really big factories. And most of the places that grow tea, they're actually quite small. And they don't really have enough to have their own factory. So what they do is they sell their leaves to the factories and the factories make it. So I went and I said, I've heard you got Longjing. And then they went, Longjing? Yeah. And went like this. And I went, what? And I look over and there's a machine. And the machine looks like a laminator, I guess you could say. Like, you know what a laminator is? I guess depending on your age and where you're from. But a laminator is two rollers like this, and then you'd stick a piece of paper in, and then it have plastic, and then it would like that to your plastic. So I looked over and was like, what? They said, oh, do you want Longjing? Well, next time we make tea, we'll throw some in there. And so I said, oh, if I want Bilutren, well, they're like, oh, that's that machine over there. And by machine, it was just like the roller, and like nothing special, just the way they make sort of oolong. And so they do have Longjing in Sanxia, but the Sanxia Longjing is the Bilutren Longjing, or sorry, the Sanxia is the Bilutren leaves, exact same processing, except the last step they put it through this like basically two rollers, and I guess they just put the leaves like this Takes a little bit of effort, and then the leaves go. And so I've seen it. But I tasted a little bit of it. I remember at the time, but I was kind of a little bit. I was a little bit put off by my expectation that perhaps a Longjing style of green tea was at least slightly different than a Bilutren, maybe slightly different. Uh, but the question is no difference in taste at all. Not that I remember. Not that I remember. Um, I do not remember a taste difference in the very least. Not at all. And so that would be the answer to your question. Do they have a Sanxia Longjing? Now, I am not claiming that I am the arbiter of truth for green tea and Sanxia. Maybe that was just one place that was wrong, right? Maybe there is one that do things a little bit differently. Again, I have not looked into the processing of Longjing green tea, so I could be completely wrong. Maybe that roller is like, maybe they would just like used car salesman tea sellers or whatever. But I saw light oolong as chincha, blue green tea. Yes, and that happens as well. But when you're paying attention, you'll be able to see the different kinds, of course. But if you're just somebody who doesn't care about tea, they actually call it green tea, high mountain oolong. So, for example, I've got a tea lady, or sorry, a post office lady who really helps us out sometimes, and she's great. And so sometimes I'll, what type of tea do you like? I'll slip her some tea in the post office. And so she likes, I like green tea, and I was like, green tea, and she's like, like Alishan green tea. I'm like, okay. So I slip her some high mountain oolong every once in a while, just to smooth the wheels of the post office. I hate the post office. But I won't go into that rant. Those white teas could probably be oolongs, to be honest, with all the manipulation, but whatever it's called, it's delicious. Well, that's exactly the way I go through it. And I would argue, that you could call it its own tea, because it's a lower elevation. It's got a specific type of cultivar. And so these white teas, I could argue, I could actually call them something like, Eastern White Beauty. That probably wouldn't work in North America, but you know what I'm saying? Like you like White Eastern Beauty, maybe. Anyways, Eastern Beauty White, something like that. I could call it like that and actually get away with it, right? And actually call it its own name. I could make up with something better that might work a little better. But you know what I mean? I could call it its own name, but I just call it Sanxia White, just because. They call it white tea. I call it white tea. There you go. But the purists will be angry. But I think I've embarrassed enough purists that they stay away from me. There's a couple forums where people came after me back in the day, and I've been left alone since then. Because most of the people don't find baita. Yeah, I mean something like that. Yeah, don't find baita. That's actually pretty. That's actually pretty good. But basically, that's what it is. Except it hasn't really been bug bitten. That's the August one, and wow, that's strong. Now it has been sitting in hot water for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But let's see how the spring one is. Hopefully, the spring one's a little better, because I don't want to have to wait for so long for these. I actually got to pan fry some Longjing when I was at Westlake in Hangzhou last month. Hey, perfect. There you go. See, there's always somebody in the chat that knows way more than me, right? The pan fry aspect of the Longjing. Perfect, right? That's a part that I guess I've seen sort of tangentially, but there is a difference with that. And the pan frying is different. That's something that is not done in Taiwan at all. I've never seen it in Taiwan, not once. But the pan frying, yeah, that is something really, really unique and something different to the Longjing styles of tea. There we go. Thank you. I love being around all of these amazing tea people because I can tell you all about Taiwanese tea, but for other places, not so much. Not so much. Okay. These two have been sitting for a while. No, that works. The spring one's okay. I'm going to double check it. So I've got allergies, and I've been battling my allergies for a while. And it's very annoying because it's just like mucus. I'm not sick. I'm not tired. Nothing. It's just like I just got to blow my nose a lot. And this whole area is so important for my job. You know? So, oh yeah, that's really actually pretty good. It's just been sitting there for a while. Again, don't brew your teas for 25 minutes with boiling water. Although if you're having a good conversation with people, which I'm lucky enough I get to do, even if it's just chat, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to get it. That one is the June 15th. Yeah, pretty good. Now, June 15th, I wish there was a little bit more bug bites in there. There's not as many bug bites as I would have liked, but what are you going to do? Let's go back into this green tea. I want to double check the green tea. And then I'll have my order for these wonderful, amazing, spectacular people. One of those things where it's like, you know, like how many people are in the supply chain? 2. You know, if you don't count the post office ladies or guys too. I shouldn't say that. You don't count the post office workers. 2. There's the family and me, which always makes me happy. Still getting lots of rose florals in the Jade Mountain Red. I am very happy to hear that. The Jade Mountain teas, I didn't get any sort of this. It's a little light, but if that's all we got, we can handle it. It's a little light, but it's got everything you want for a beautiful Sanxia green. Yeah, I've still got Jade Mountain stuff. So the Jade Mountain stuff, I didn't get the wintertime stuff because I've still got snow picks from last year and some of the spring and some of the fall left. And I didn't get the wintertime. And it's mostly because it's just not as famous and it's a little bit lighter. So that area, the flavor of the teas are beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, but they're a little bit lighter. Now they are a little bit cheaper than a lot of the other places, but I've got to figure out how I'm going to market it and do the Jade Mountain. I did heavy into Jade Mountain in 2023 and I didn't really sell out. So I've got to figure out how best I'm going to do that. How best I'm going to do Jade Mountain, because the unique teas in Jade Mountain, like the Jade Mountain Black was really nice, but I didn't find one. Oh, that's something I should ask about. But the Jade Mountain teas, I really, really like them, but they didn't sell as much as I'd hoped they'd sell. I've had a green oolong made with a Longjing QUNTI varietal this morning. It tastes nutty even if it isn't pan fried. Well, there we go. Right? There's nothing nutty about this tea. There's nothing nutty about Sanxia, the Qingqing Ganzi or Qingqing Ganzhou, however you want to call it. Nothing nutty at all. Let's see. Sorry, the YouTube camera's out of focus there. Whatever. But I think that's about it. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to double check all of these teas and make sure they're okay. But yeah, it's good. I'll get some. I won't get too much because I'll wait for March but I'll get some because I don't have any green tea. And it's good. It's decent. A good example of some Sanxia green. And I'll get the springtime black and the December, I'll call it like winter white or something like that, because it's just beautiful. It really is just beautiful. Kun tea. I don't know how to pronounce that without being offensive. Anyways, yeah. Any questions about this stuff? The teas for the subscription box this month are all gotten. There will be, it's the roasted teas box, so there will be some light roasted dong ding, the heavy roasted dong ding, the electric roasted dong ding. There will be the charcoal roasted dong ding, the Chen, the Mr. Chen stuff. There will be, I wrote it down. Anyways, there's a bunch of roasted teas. There'll be the acacia roast milk oolong, which is a beautiful tea. And then I'll dig out of the I think I've got it somewhere in storage there, sort of the not very good roast. So I've got a tea from a couple of years ago that was just a roast for the sake of roasting. And I'll throw that in as well, just sort of as an extra, so you can get that what's the difference between a tea that just blows your mind and warms you up? It starts here and just warms you up, your entire body, versus a tea that's roasted because, well, it was a crappy tea and there's nothing you could do with it other than roasting. So that's what I will do. And actually, there's around here somewhere, I think there's an old baotong that I roasted. And I'm going to see if I can find it, because it was really interesting. It was really interesting, that old baotong that I found. Good to see you. Looking forward to my tea order and the Jade. Happy 2024 to you as well, and to everybody. I might do a live stream before the New Year's. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll just see how it goes. I'm not sure. But yeah, we've got 3 days of holiday in Taiwan right now. The costs of hotels for these holiday weekends, there's like a day off on Monday, 3-day holiday. The cost of hotels have gone up 10 times. 10 times. It's insane. Now, it could be just that there's no hotels left right now, that it's all booked. Maybe if you booked it 6 months out in advance, it wasn't so bad. But right now, if you want to get a hotel, it's 10 times more expensive. It's insane. It's insane. Now, good for the hotel people. Obviously, they had a rough couple of years, but still, like, there's a certain point you reach where you sort of go, what? So we're going to be at home. So my children will help me pack up the subscription box teas. So I'll get some free, if rather annoying, labor. But I guess I can't call it labor. Anyways, yeah. We'll as a family, we'll pack up the subscription boxes. And so let's see, what are we? So that was the August stuff. And that's the June stuff, June stuff. I'm going to have to go and deep dive into both of these teas a little bit more. I'll probably get the June stuff just for fun. Okay. Anyways, thank you for watching. Let's see. There's going to be a lot of babies born in the year of the dragon. Well, I've got to go to the temple because my oldest is a dragon, and he acts like it. He is one. So we gotta do in Tai Shui, or no, in Tai Shui. Anyways, I forget the anti Shui. So we got to go to the temple, because if it's your year, it's actually very, very unlucky for you. So we got to go, and we got to go to the temple and light some lights for them all year long. But yes, it's a year of the dragon, and I'm hoping there's a lot of babies. I'm hoping there's a lot of babies, because I don't know where you are. I hope there's a lot of babies as well, wherever in the world you happen to be. But here in Taiwan, there's not as many babies as I wish there was, for a bunch of different reasons. Anyways, my allergies in my nose are doing their thing. So I've got to go and blow my nose. But wherever in the world you happen to be, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, night, all of that type of stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful 2024 if I don't see you before that. See you next live stream.